eventually everyone's going to come together. I mean, let's be honest. This is leverage to make sure that whatever final deal finally gets together for these Power 5 conferences or Power 4, if the Big 12 is now left picking up pieces and is not even part of this, that this is all leverage for down the road. As for right now, was there a danger of Clemson and Ohio State peeling off and joining the SEC along with Oklahoma and Texas? Was that part of maybe this conversation that got the ACC and the Big 12, the Pac-12 and the Big 10 together? Have you heard anything like that at all?
There wasn't any, but if you look at the game pieces and you look ahead, you could see where there might be, not necessarily with Ohio State. The Big Ten is really solid, and Ohio State, and to say Ohio State and Michigan join the SEC just wouldn't make sense institutionally for those schools. Football's a big deal, but the Big Ten has a $10 billion a year joint fund to do research and scientific development and all of that. And I know we can all roll our eyes about the academics, but that matters on these campuses. We're talking $10 billion. So, and if you're Ohio State, which has done a tremendous job at improving its academics the last 20 years, you're recruiting your student body from Chicago and from Pennsylvania and Michigan. Like, to just go play in the South wouldn't make a lot of sense. They're not going to give up everything for football, and Michigan's certainly not going to do it. So those things matter more on the campus. A $100 million football team is a big deal, but it's not as big as a $10 billion, having access to $10 billion in, driverless car funding and things like that they're working on at these schools. So all of that goes on. Now, if you look at the long term and you say Clemson and Florida State, right, geographically, culturally, academically, competitively, financially, it makes a ton of sense for those two to join the SEC, right? They're right in. They're already they're right there. It's a much easier move for Clemson and Florida State than it would be for Oklahoma and Texas. Now, there was no movement on Clemson and Florida State right now. But if you're the Big Ten, let's say you're the Big Ten, and you're looking, because people are like, why is the Big Ten doing this? They're as strong as the SEC. Their TV money is just as big. They may not win the championship, but their programs are strong. There's a whole bunch of 100,000-seat stadiums that get filled every week. They're fine. Why would you kind of lend your strength to prop up these other leagues? It's because they want Clemson, they want Clemson and Florida State to feel good. And if you're in the Big Ten, you're looking and saying, well, I could see these two jumping. Why don't we try to help out the ACC a little bit and make it worth their while to stay? Because the one thing Clemson and Florida State have, this is what Oklahoma and Texas gave up, and they may regret it forever, because Nebraska sure does. When you go to a harder league, you can't just roll out of bed and go, we're going 10-2 at least this year if we've got our program together, or we've got an inside track on the playoff. You now have to fight through a much tougher league. And so there's still a lot of reasons for Clemson and Florida State to stay right where they are. But certainly you could look at that and go, boy, that's not some seismic move if you said, hey, I'm going to join this league. The leagues already are in your footprint.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.